The role of brotherhood in men's emotional health. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Hey, I forgot what I was going to say. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
when something negative comes up.
Building muscle appeal, blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing.
Being a super
The entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that
Here we go, guys. I did forget what I was going to say, but I got it ready now. You know why I forgot? Because ChatGPT is down. Oh, hey, ChatGPT is down. You got nothing to do right now? Come hang out with us this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, the only morning show to get you guys out of bed. Yes, baby. If you don't, you're going to be 9 minutes behind the guy over there. Oh, the guy over there, that's John Anderson. Yeah, that guy picks up heavy things and puts them down every now and then. Likes to ride his motorbike. You got Christopher Martin, C. Marty Fitties over there. Yeah, he's the guy holding up the fort here in Mornings in the Lab. One of the original day oneers here in the lab. And of course, you got producer Jimmy. He's on the buttons this morning, making sure we look good, sound good, and bring all this great content to you guys here this morning on Mornings in the Lab. I got a big announcement coming up this morning. Yeah, big, huge announcement. Nobody knows what my announcement is going to be, so I'm going to make it coming up this morning. We're going to talk men's emotional health, the role of brotherhood, and all how that works. And so forth. And we got AJ Zeglen coming in later on the hour to talk Mindfield men's performance. Hey, listen, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and tell your friends about the biggest morning show on the planet for men called Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. We get after it every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern time over on YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Twitch, everywhere you can find live streaming content, you will find us here. Good morning, Scott Benzie. Appreciate you joining us here this morning. Yesterday, our conversation, Scott, come find me on LinkedIn so we can have it back and forth. I'd love to hear your feedback, brother. Good to have you here this morning. Jimmy, let's bring in the boys. I can see John chomping at the bit this morning. What's up, Mr. Johnny Anderson? How are you, brother?
I'm fucking hurting, man.
Oh!
I gotta be honest. I went down hard yesterday on my bike. Oh man.
Oh,
yeah, I'm limping around like a mother today. Holy shit.
Do tell, Mr. Anderson.
Oh.
What happened, brother? Were you 53 thinking you were 19? Oh yeah, I can do that jump.
Well, here's the thing. When you stop doing that stuff, you get old real quick.
Yeah.
So I keep, it's like, yeah, I came up short on a big double jump. I came out of a corner thinking I was in fourth gear and I was only in third gear. So I didn't have the speed I was looking for. And I literally came up short on the jump on the side. It was a doozy too. I was probably, that second jump's at least 30, 40 feet away.
Dude.
And so, yeah. Oh, it fucking flopped me on the ground. Like I can't even tell you. Yeah.
So replay it. Like, did the bike land straight up, or did you go ass over head, or did you go head over ass? Did you fall to the side, or did you land?
Yeah, I went to the side, luckily, because a lot of times, the front made it over the nose of the jump. So
okay.
The ones that really hurt is when you catch the front tire on the jump, the next jump. Yeah, I've done that one before, but not at such high speed.
Yeah.
And so this one flopped me to the ground, and it rung my bell, man. I had a whopping headache. I think I got probably hard to say, maybe a minor concussion, but I've had something that doesn't matter. But I got to tell you what really killing me. It's really weird. So I went down on my right side.
Your pride?
Listen. This is what you have when you get your ass kicked. You got to realize that's what helps you get to the mountaintop. You don't become king of the fucking jungle without fighting the lion. But the weirdest part is, so I went down my right side. My right side I took the impact.
Yeah.
But my left side is what's so fucking sore. It's really weird. I think it must have like stretched me out or something. I don't know.
Were you solo or were you with Terry at the time?
No, Terry was actually at the beauty parlor. So I was actually with one of my buddies and one of my neighbors out here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that ride out here, but yeah, it was a doozy to say the least. But here's the thing: so if I squeal in the middle of the show without any reason, you know why? Because my lower lat just keeps grabbing out of nowhere.
Oh
like
man.
I'll just be sitting there, all of a sudden it's like,
one action.
So, but it's all good. This is the there it goes right there. This is the spice of life.
Good morning, Adam Holwer. To see you there in the comments. Thanks for joining us this morning. What's up there, Christopher Martin? How are you, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Hey, listen, I'm here, right?
That's
so
it.
I'm good. If I'm here, I'm good. Yeah,
Hey, Marty, I gotta think, Marty, you do not remember who I'm going to say next because I'm going to date myself and Johnny. But Johnny's talking about crashing on his motorcycles. Hey, Marty, Johnny, remember Evel Knievel? Johnny.
Oh my God, how do you not remember? Evel Knievel was one of my favorites.
What?
I mean, literally.
Both. Marty, do you remember Evel Knievel?
I remember. I've never heard of it.
He's the dude. He's like the original, like X Games and all this shit. He was like.
Oh, what year are we talking?
Oh fuck, 70s, late 60s,
how am I gonna remember
70s?
that?
I know Marty.
Well, it's kind of legendary.
Yeah,
it's like saying Johnny Unitas in football. Johnny Unitas in football.
Yeah,
I think I heard it in some rap songs.
Yeah.
Like who's the Evel Knievel of the NBA, Keith? Let's give him a comparison. Like like maybe Wilt Chamberlain,
or
okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
He was a guy that just like Wilt came in and just changed everything. That's what Evel was.
That's
like he's Hulk Hogan. I know Hulk Hogan like that.
Yeah, he's the Hulk Hogan of Daredevil, of being Daredevil.
So Marty,
this is the guy.
And Marty, when Johnny and Keith were growing up, it was not uncommon for Keith and Johnny to all of a sudden be aware that there's this big event happening in somewhere in the world, and perhaps maybe Las Vegas, and all of a sudden Evel Knievel was going to take his motorcycle and jump the Las Vegas Strip or jump Caesar's Palace, and all the TV channels, all four of them, would all tune into
literally the whole world would be watching.
The one event where Evel Knievel was going to jump like 30 buses, and
that's pretty cool.
And the whole world.
Well, but here's the thing: this guy would fucking crash, and he would break like 30 bones on TV.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, there was no. I mean, this is like you want to see a body going like a dude. Check this out, Google. Forgive me. YouTube. Evel Knievel, Caesar's Palace, dude. You want to see a body break in like 100 people. I mean, his body just goes limp, and you see bones breaking. Crazy, dude.
And then Johnny, remember that then we went from Evel Knievel to Super Dave Osborne. Remember Super Dave?
Yeah, he was, but nobody could replace Evel.
No, I know. Yeah.
You know the best part about Evel? This is the best part. So
that was
what he did was he was trying to get himself on Front Street. So he was calling all these casinos, pretending to be somebody else, and like, hey, I keep hearing about this guy Evel Knievel. You hear of him? And he just did this for months until finally he called back, and one of the event planners like, yeah, I keep hearing about Evel Knievel. What is this guy?
Yes.
And he literally just talked himself like true the early manifester of entertainment.
Well, there's something to be said for that, Johnny, Marty. It's called creating perceived demand. Right. So I had there was a local retailer. There was a local retailer here in Winnipeg years ago that developed a line of clothing boys, and over a period of months, they kept calling all these stores and saying, "Hey, do you guys have this clothing?" "No, I don't. What is it?" "Oh no, I'm trying to get it." And every week, Marty, they would call these stores, creating this perceived, "Oh man, do you guys this clothing yet?" And then after they created demand, the owners would call the store and say, "Yeah, we're looking to sell our line of clothing." We've been hearing all these people calling about it. So they put a bunch of people in advance creating demand for it, and then a few weeks later they called to say, "Hey, we got this stuff. We got the stuff that people's calling about."
Isn't that genius?
It's fucking.
That's pretty genius.
It is.
And that's literally Evel Knievel he did that in entertainment. He was the first one. He created a demand for himself by just making phone calls to all these casinos that finally Caesar's Palace bit.
That's it.
And off he went.
Jimmy comes back with, yes, Evel Knievel Jimmy, the white motorcycle man in Toy Story. Yeah, true story. That's exactly
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
Oh, dude, I had the little toy where you could like you put this little belt in. Oh, you zipped it right, and the back wheel went rolling. You put him down. He took off up your driveway.
That's hilarious.
So I got a couple things I want to throw on the table here this morning for the loop here before we get into more of the show here. Two things for me. First of all, glasses off for this one. We know we're not about politics. No desire to get into politics, but I just do want to talk with humanity for a second. I just got to say this. I can't imagine what it's like waking up in America right now, perhaps not as a male or not as a female, and maybe you're gay, maybe you're transgender, maybe you're lesbian. I think it's kind of crazy, actually, because of some of the shit happening. So I just want to say this. You're all welcome here. Oh, yeah. True story. You're all welcome here. So we don't care what gender you are. We don't care what sex you are. We don't care who you sleep with. We don't care about any of that. Just come to our show. Let's come hang out. Oh, by the way, ChatGPT is down right now. Come hang out with our show as well. So, guys, just come hang out with our show. And then secondly, Marty, I got a big announcement, man. Made a decision yesterday. I'm stop making content. That's it. No more content.
Stuck?
Nope.
You stuck or you're stopping?
Stopping. No more content.
You're not going to do it because chat's going to do it.
Nope. Stopping all content creation. Oh, there's Johnny Sore. Yeah.
God damn it, man. Oh, Jesus. Marty, just so you know, I didn't develop Tourette's overnight. I fucking crashed on my dirt bike yesterday, so I got a spasm in my back.
Man.
My hook is this, Jimmy. Stopping all content creation and instead moving exclusively to conversation creation. Oh, because content can be meaningless. Content can have no value. Content could have no intention. Or if you do things properly, man, conversation creates conversation creates value. Conversation creates engagement. And conversation inevitably creates content. But I can't encourage all of you listening right now, stop creating content. Start creating conversation. Because we're creating conversation and we're creating media for tomorrow's world, not the world that we all grew up with 15 years ago. So I'd invite you guys to think about some of the things that we're strategizing on, things that we were working on 10 years ago. It's a different world, guys. So stop creating content for the sake of creating content and start creating conversations. You'll even notice with the show, the show is we'll have even more intention with some of the things we're talking about. And it's funny because Marty said to me last week, he's like, man, we went off script, man. It was great. Like, and I said to Melissa and Jimmy behind the scenes, they had no idea that we were actually on script. But the point is, my goal is to make it so seamless that you guys don't even know we're on script. And the only thing we're trying to stay hold to is some of the time frame, right? So,
well, when I said off script, I mean we have.
Yeah.
I don't want to give the show away.
Yeah.
We have certain markers. That's what I meant by off script, because I know.
But that was good though. You noticed that.
Yeah,
I love it,
yeah.
Right? So what I did in that moment was that I allowed the time to go over the markers, right? But when I think when we can do a great show, people don't even notice it. And what I've learned here too, and behind the scenes here, is that it's one thing to produce a show every single day, but to recognize all the magic going on behind the scenes, man, there's a lot of fucking work.
I got a confession on that. So what?
Yes.
Well, excuse me.
Are you gonna
when
win?
I very first time we did a show together, Keith, you're like, hey, I'm going to send you what you said. Hey, you're going to give me some sort of format or questions. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't want none of that. I'm just going to go off the cuff. That's where it's best.
Yeah.
But that was just the one-off. And then when we started working together on this, oh, God damn it. Sorry. You're giving me the schedule. I think it was called Notion or something like that.
That's it.
It's like, here you go. You'll kind of understand how it goes. I never even fucking looked at it. Like, he's taking me off my fucking rails here. My rails is to not know anything.
And I learned that. I've learned how to work with you. I've learned I'm not sending you long books to read. I'll send you a video. I'll send you an audio. I'll send you things that I've learned, brother. Speaking of learning, guys, I have a confession to you boys as well. Remember Mike Smart was on the show last week? The dude who's making smart seeds and
South
food?
Dakota.
Exactly.
Yes.
Boy, like he's a beast, man. He's a beast. So I put a post out on Monday saying, hey, I'm looking for some help, looking for somebody who wants to roll up her sleeves and get to work and maybe help grow the business. The guy has not stopped contacting me. And I mean,
He is a dude right there. So
John, you want to talk about Johnny, his character.
Yeah, I was gonna say in character, yeah. But you know what else? He's got that thing that you can't teach somebody.
Yes.
You know, he got his dick knocked in the dirt deep a couple of times.
Yep.
But he climbed up and fucking basically got that thing back up to par again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I got to tell you guys, I'll say it.
And that was a compliment, Mike, if you're listening.
Yeah. I know he's going to, because he's been paying a lot of attention to our show here. I'm going to tell you guys, we've been talking behind the scenes here and digging in to do some work with the dude because Marty, he kind of reminds me of Johnny. He's like, he keeps knocking on my door. He's like, yes, can I work? Can I help? Can I work? I want to do some shit with you guys. I love the thing. And then secondly, his character is just like the time I've been spending with him. His character, Johnny, is off the charts. I know, John, you and I've talked about character. Marty, you and I've talked about character. Like, his character is just off the charts. Right?
Well, you know, he been through some shit. You know, he's hit rock bottom. So
yes,
he's speaking our language, so he fit right in with us. You know,
man, I was just taken aback. I'll confess one last thing to you guys before we move on the conversation. We had a meeting a couple days ago. He brought me to tears. I'm serious with some of the things he was sharing me. Like, he just his vulnerability, his comfort, and not like crying like wham wham wham, but just like he emotionally connected. I found myself wanting to walk towards him. And you know, we're here talking about the role of brotherhood and men's emotional health. I just found myself wanting to walk towards him and hug him and lean into learning from the guy. Like, I felt really comfortable talking with him.
A good conversation can get your chin wiggling. You know, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When the chin starts wiggling, it wiggles here and then it starts going up there,
yes.
You know?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. And there's times, Johnny, when the chin's wiggling and you're asking yourself whether you're supposed to hide it or let it show out. And as we get older, we're like, just let it show out, man. Exactly. Just let it show, man. Just let it show. Amy Reiner, I see you there. I see you there in the comments. Let's see here. What is she saying here? We've all thought about it. Trust me, fit for a state. No, yeah. I hear you, Amy. It's a crazy thing. I don't know if much is happening up here in our country with that as well. But like I said, everybody's welcome here. I just want people to feel comfortable. And, you know, I put a post yesterday. This show's for men. But, Marty, the show's also for the women that are dating the men. Speaking of Marty, speaking of Marty, is there a young lady in your world there, Mr. Martin?
No, not at the moment.
No,
but
no.
Nah. I talk to somebody though.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But it's not official.
So it's interesting because I had something on my where is it here? Oh yeah. I had some notes here I was going to bring up here to talk about. No, I'll talk about it after. Let's do this. Let's go to Jimmy. Let's go to the accountability check-in, and then I got a few things, guys. I want to talk about some effortless daily habits that I think that we can do that sometimes we forget about doing throughout the day that I think put some awareness into men's hands. I got 2025 sex trends revealed from Ask Men. Ask Men put a poll out, and I know, boys, we talk sex here on the show. Let's talk about that in a couple of minutes. And then men, I got something for you to think about. If you're in the mood to take some Cialis or Viagra, you might want to avoid some foods that might have impact on that. We're going to bring it up on the table here in a couple of minutes. But before we do that, Jimmy, let's get to the accountability check-in and keep the show rolling here. Hey, Mike Quillen, I see you, man. I see you. Good morning, Business Athlete Nation. Mike is saying there's a Peruvian soft drink that did something similar. Go to a restaurant, order the more expensive thing on the menu, and you get an Inca Cola. Like, I had an Inca Cola before, man. Pretty cool when I was down there in Peru. Yeah, I also, there was a few hours ago. Hey, Mike, we're just catching up, brother. We're just catching up. All right, Jimmy, let's get to the accountability check-in here this morning, guys. Yes, sirree. Boom, boom. Listen, life kicks your ass. I've learned not to waste the lessons. No, tragedy, it's going to, but it doesn't have to define you. What does, though, is your response. Yes, that response is going to define everything about you. When life goes sideways, losing a job, a loved one, or facing setbacks you never saw coming, here's the thing, right? You got two options. You can let it break you. And I think for many of us, it tries to, or you could use it to build something stronger. So listen, the pain's going to be unavoidable. Ask John when he crashed on the motorcycle yesterday. But suffering, that's a choice. Here's the question. The question isn't, why is this happening to me? The question is, what can I do with this? Listen, nation, every setback you face, it has the potential to do something. It's going to teach you resilience when things fall apart, or strength that you didn't know you had. So listen, The tragedy is never the end of the story unless you let it be. That perspective, most people never gain it. So listen, growth is almost always on the other side of the struggle. Get after it, guys. Get after it today. Get after those goals. There's your accountability check-in. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, let's keep it rocking, Jimmy. Let's keep it going, brother. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. All right, Marty. So listen, there's gentlemen today that are going to be considering having some intimate relations with their partner. And they might be,
really? I never would have thought that.
And they might be thinking about having some medicine to help them perform. Maybe Cialis or Viagra. Have you ever tried Cialis or Viagra, Marty?
Nah.
No, not one buddy's like, here, try this out. No.
Nah. Nah.
Well, listen, the little blue pill that you take for erectile dysfunction relaxes the muscles, increases the blood flow to help maintain that erection. There are certainly foods that you want to avoid that might have impact on.
But before you go, I have a vision.
Yeah.
Keith says the foods, and Johnny says, well, fuck, you shouldn't eat those foods anyway, motherfucker. That's my vision. Let's see if this vision comes true. That's my vision right now.
So you might want to be careful with the other things that you put into your system while taking the little blue pill. And you might want to be careful about having perhaps grapefruit juice. Yeah. A 2020 clinical trial tested the effects of grapefruit juice on the body's absorption of Viagra. And when men drank the grapefruit juice before taking a 50 milligram dose, it increased the absorption of the drug by 23%. It didn't harm men, but
it's going to be better. No, I'm playing.
Work differently than usual. Yeah.
So basically, it's not going away.
But you think about it, what is the mechanism? It's fucking sugar. It's how basically I bet orange juice would be just a few goddamn percentages away. And it's based on the sugar content. It's not some fucking magical thing in the grapefruit that works with the Viagra.
And
Christ.
Man,
I was about to go buy some grapefruits, Johnny.
And the other thing you might want to be careful about is, and I'm thinking most men are just popping the old, they're getting drunk, popping the old blue pill to make sure they get the hard on after they're drinking. But listen, the alcohol is also going to have impact on that Viagra. So you might want to just hang tight on some of the decisions you're making before you're going to go have some intimate relations with your wife. In other words, having sex. Leave the booze aside, leave the grapefruit juice aside, leave the orange juice aside. And Johnny, let's go have some water, eh? Let's go drink some water.
But what if the football game's on, Keith? You gotta have some alcohol with that.
Is that what you have to do?
Yeah, you gotta have alcohol with the football game. It's the Commanders made the NFC Championship. You gotta have the alcohol with it.
Oh, that's how it works, right?
I'm joking.
Does alcohol always have to be a part of every social event?
I'm with you, Keith. I'm with you. It doesn't.
This is a general question.
No, it does not. It doesn't. Because if you have to, have alcohol, if you got to be buzzed, you probably don't belong there. You probably don't need to be there. You know?
I saw an interesting conversation with John Kraske. You know our buddy John Kraske, Marty. And
yeah.
Saying he hasn't drank for whatever 8 months, and his comment was, his obvious comments, but I just sometimes think they're worth repeating. Is that he's like, my conversations with people are much more refreshing. Relationships I have with humans are much more refreshing. Deep conversations. They're actually friends. They're not just drunk friends. Right. And it's funny how, you know what I mean, Marty? It's like, because when you get drunk with a buddy all the time, all you're doing is have drunk conversations. There's nothing real. There's no depth to it. There's no brotherhood happening.
Yeah. All of my close friends are the ones that I bonded with over some sort of hard work.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah. Man. All my buddies that were like just when I was going through my nutty phase, those people aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
You know what? The light just went for me. Go ahead, Marty. Go ahead.
I was just going to add, a lot of my close friends are my teammates that, we preseason conditioning, grinding, games, hard
bonded
work.
Because you guys bled together, man.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, it's just funny because the light just went on for me on that one too. AJ Zeglen, right? When I met AJ and AJ changed.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Not bonded over it being in the bar, not bonded over getting drunk, not bonding over late nights in the cab. We bonded over my tears.
It's a bond that matters.
It's a bond of brotherhood, emotional health, going through divorce, fucking picking me up at 3 and 4 in the morning, going, come on, bro, let's go talk about it. Let's get in the gym and talk about it, right? And that's
yeah. And then like even my co-host on my podcast, you've seen him, Keith.
Yeah. Too.
I met the guy in 2018, 2019, and like we're real close, but we bonded through the gym. So it's just what Johnny was talking about.
On there. I didn't know you had a co-host on there. Huh?
Not every episode. He comes sometimes. He pops in and out. Yeah.
Right on.
There you go. Man. So guys,
real quick, just to interject on this, to getting back to the topic of Viagra, right? Mark, I was just going to say, you're still I'd say you're in the second quarter of life, right?
Yeah.
Early second quarter. You're going to have halftime, and when you come back out to the court for the third quarter, you're gonna be friending that blue pill. But it's okay, because it's what you do to perform, like you did in the first and the second quarter.
Yeah.
That's what we all do, baby.
I understand.
It's just the things you got to do to stay on top, baby.
Yeah.
I think Johnny too. Actually, let's talk about it for a few moments, because let's talk about it. There is a ridiculous perception about it, John, that you and I need to wipe off the map about it. That there's this, I think there's this perception that I have to take a pill because I'm unable to perform. Fuck,
these are just the weak-minded motherfuckers.
I agree, John.
Jesus Christ.
I'm with you,
That's
bro.
If you just get back to, if you stop fucking worrying about what other people think, you do what serves you best.
Yeah.
I remember when that shit became popular.
Yeah.
I was in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Granted, it was like, if there was a button I could push to perform better, I was pushing buttons. So don't think damn straight I was taking that in the second quarter to find out what it was all about. I didn't need it, but it was fun. Now, third quarter came along. Okay. We got a little bend when we're not expecting it. So
they discovered sildenafil by accident. So Cialis
was for something else.
It's exactly it, Johnny. Marty, they were working on a drug for something completely separate. And while they were working on it, I think it was for heart health, Johnny. While they were working on
it is.
They discovered that the penis was becoming erect. And for a period of time, they're like, oh, wait a minute, we made a discovery here. So while they were digging a hole for China, they actually ended up digging a hole to Japan. They're like, oh, hey, wait, we found somewhere else to go. Right. So I find that quite fascinating. And then there's out of that, a massive industry was born, with ED for men. And I would say many ways, quite normalized now, actually. Like I'd say it's very normalized, actually, Johnny.
Well, the good thing about Cialis, because it's good for heart health, now people take it as a heart health thing.
Yes.
And then it's actually an easier remedy, because that way, if you take it every day for your heart, it's got a 36-hour half-life. You don't have to worry about timing it with a pill of Viagra.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Hey, boys, let's get into this one before we do the fit tip here. I got something I want to throw on the table. 5 pre-workout mistakes everyone makes. Marty, John, I know there's guys. I know I've made these. Guys are making these mistakes, and I'm hoping right now, if we have this conversation, we can help some guys start their day to avoid some of these things right now. The number one, dehydration. Guys are heading to the gym, and they're not hydrated. Guys, get your coffee in, get your water, and get your fluids in first thing in the day, especially if you're going to get your day in the gym. Just a little reminder, Mike McQuillan and so forth, get that hydration in. Marty, lean into that for a quick second.
Real quick, why is it got to be a pre-workout thing? How about just hydrate all the time?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm creating awareness. So just this morning, as people are starting their day, you're right, Johnny. So listen, you got to be drinking water all day, but before you get into the gym, boys, crush that fucking water, guys. Like, get that water. It's the easiest thing that we often overlook. Just get it in there, right? There's something there. Number 2, guys, is you want to avoid, which is ignoring your body's signals. Johnny's sore today. He fell off his motorcycle yesterday. He's probably going to say to himself, I might not do what I thought I was going to do today. Right. So, Marty, yourself, there's times you got clients yourself, you're going to the gym. It's okay to make a pivot. Right, Marty?
Yeah, absolutely, man. If your legs are super sore from leg day, you can take a rest day, or you could just go in the gym and do something else. Do active recovery. You can stretch, you can walk, or you can just do some upper body. So definitely listen to your body. You don't want to overdo it. And then when you overdo it, that taps into the mental. Now I hate the gym. I'm not going back. So
Yes.
be careful with that.
And then Johnny, skipping warm up, skipping any stretching before, like just getting into a big press. You're like, no, man, you got to warm that shoulder up. You got to warm those pecs up. Johnny, talk about skipping warm up, man.
Well, the hiccup with that is when you're younger, you can get away with it.
Oh yeah.
There's an age where all of a sudden your body shifts,
right?
And you can't do that.
What you think that age is?
Oh man, I'm telling you, like in my early 20s. So for me, it was probably around 26. At 22, I could walk into the gym.
Me too.
I literally did, in terms of squatting, I would load up the bar with 225, do 5 reps, 315, 5 reps, 405, 5 reps, 495, 5 reps. I just kept adding on a plate until I couldn't do 5 reps anymore. I would sometimes go up to 8 plates a side. And you count the reps that I did before there, it was like fucking less than 50.
Fuck.
But I was okay.
No warm up?
No issues. What's that? No warm up, dude. It was just like, dude, it was crazy. It was like anyway, but then all of a sudden around 25, I started fucking pulling muscles like, what is going on here? And I quickly realized, okay, dude, you know, that get out of jail free card is fucking spent. You got no more of those left, you know?
Yeah.
Mistake number 4 we're making is we're not fueling up before we're going. So listen, not everybody, maybe some folks like to IF, intermittent fast. Maybe some folks like to eat a lot before you go in. The bottom line is, guys, you need fuel. You need to, and as Johnny would say, get ahead of your hunger, right? If you're constantly putting food into your belly, good, clean, quality food, you should be able to get ahead of, any hunger. So do not neglect your fuel before you head in for a good lift. Number 5, guys, is going in with no plan. Right? How often do you guys hear your clients going to the gym with no plan? They're like, I'm just going to do something. Fuck, you're not going to have any. Marty.
Yeah, and people be like, I went to the gym. And did what? You had no intention in there. I know you didn't do any real work. So you got to have a plan. You got to have some structure, just like you have structure for everything else in your life. Why would you not have structure for the one and only body that you get, but you got structure for everything else? Makes no sense.
That's it, guys. So
if you just break it down nice and simple, is that a man with a plan will execute. If you don't have a plan, you don't know what to execute. You spend a lot of time wasted time, frustrated. So it's just everything you're saying, Marty, 100%.
Absolutely.
The problem is I think most people don't have plans of execution for their lives. They just get up and start wandering through their shit. So that's what they do at the gym. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Yeah, well, you either live a life of reaction, or you live a life of proaction.
Yep.
It's really hard to be in the middle of
it.
So you can either react to everything around you and be a miserable son of a bitch. Oh, woe is me! The world is against me, and things are happening to me. Or you can proactively get ahead of it and make shit happen to you. So listen, guys, the 5 pre-workout mistakes everyone makes, how you to avoid them. Number 1, guys, get some water inside you guys. Get some proper, ignore those body signals. You want to skip the warm-up. You want to, you don't want to skip the warm-up. You want to make sure you fuel up, and you also want to make sure that you go in with a plan before you get after your day today. All right, Marty, let's get after the fit tip, brother, and we'll come back and keep the conversation going this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and friends. Let's get after, brother.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, man. All right, we kind of touched on this a few minutes ago. When you're on your fitness journey, this is going to hurt some hearts, right? I don't want to hear this. It's very common to lose friends and maybe even some family members, right? Because everyone isn't going to support you, and that's okay. The beauty of it is those people weren't really rocking with you to begin with, right? If you decide to improve yourself mentally, physically, and that scares someone away, turns them off, makes them feel uncomfortable, makes them jealous. Jealous is probably the biggest one. That person was never for you, and that's not somebody you want in your life, right? I heard a girl talking about how when she lost 60 pounds, somebody that she spoke to at the gym all the time just completely stopped speaking to her because this person has been going to the gym just like her the whole time, and they didn't drop 60 pounds. They probably didn't drop any pounds, right? You're going to make people feel better when you decide to self-improve. But another beautiful thing about that is you're able to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, right? You can surround yourself with people who are on the same path as you, who want to get to the same destination you want to get to. You surround yourself with people like us on this show. That's why you watching the show and you listening to us and you listening to me right now, because I got the floor. Keith and Johnny, stay over there. Let the young dude shine for a second, man. But yeah, don't let it discourage you, and understand that it's normal to lose people and you're not by yourself. That's the fitness tip for today.
The day we're talking brotherhood, Marty's talking truth, man, because there's times when you're going to make a decision, you're going to lose people on your journey. And Marty, that's just what it is, isn't it, brother?
Man, I hear so many stories, and I've experienced it myself, you know, and it's just part of the game, you know, but I've learned that you don't even want a super big circle. You want to have a tight-knit circle with just a few people. You know, some circles going to be bigger than others, but you don't need to be everybody's friend. You know, you really want to build connections with people who want to be around you and who want to be around you for you, you know?
I'm with you there, brother. And I'll lean into you on this one. I'll share some vulnerabilities. We haven't talked about it because you guys haven't gone through this, but when we go through divorce, Marty, that becomes a big situation in life, because you find friends that the couple has, right? Things separate, right? And
yeah.
Where does the friends go, right? Do the friends go to the man? Do the friends go to the female? And then more importantly, you know, as one of the two people that have divorced, do you want to spend any time, you know, revisiting that person's past? Do you want to keep hanging out with those old friends? And I gotta tell you, you know, when I went through my divorce, all those friends I had in that old world, I don't interact with them anymore. Like they're gone.
I get it.
And it's just kind of how it is, right? And it's you know, you want to make a fresh start. You want to make a fresh start. You want to surround yourself with part of your future, not part of your past, right? And it's something that I don't know, and maybe we need to talk more about it, Marty. But it's something that I know.
I can add to that.
Yeah, Marty.
So I went through a breakup a couple years ago, and I lost money in my pocket. I lost clients.
Oh yeah, of course.
And yeah, so I mean friends too, but you know, it affected my business. Yes. So I'm right there. Thing, I'm right there with you. Yeah.
You strip it all down. It's really fucking simple. To get really fucking good at life, whatever's in your life, you're gonna have to say no so much.
Yes.
That your circle's gonna fucking shrink, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
So if you got a big circle, you're probably not saying no enough, because it's very rare that people get a big circle of people that are high performing.
It's interesting because we're here talking men's emotional health and brotherhood and so forth, and how it brings us together, and how I think men perhaps need to lean more into a brotherhood to help with our emotional health. Yeah. I have never been a dude that has needed a large circle around me. Like right now, like the three of us, like this is like perfect for me. This is you know, I'm not a, you know, I'm not a big circle guy, and because I find that when you have big circles, I don't know how to articulate it, but I'm all about the smaller, intimate circle of friends, right? Vulnerability, sharing, lining up on goals. Johnny, I see you're looking to say something there.
Well, you've been pretty focused. Oh,
yeah.
You know, and when you're focused, you know, it's like it's the law of attraction. People don't believe in this shit, but it's absolutely true. You know, it's like if you smell like shit, you're going to attract other people that smell like shit, because nobody can smell the shit on each other.
You know, it's so bizarre how much truth is in that.
It's the truth.
I have some family members, Johnny, that I talk to my dad about all the time, and it's unbelievable, John. Every time I talk to my dad about these family members, there's constantly smelling like shit, and I'm like, holy smokes, man! For 30 years, they just cannot get out of smelling like shit, and it's like they attract.
Well, it's because they don't know they smell like shit. It's like that fucking guy that's got that terrible bad breath that from like 6 feet away. Like, Jesus Christ, whatever's fucking rotting in your mouth, pull it out, please. Yeah. You know, they have no clue that they have that.
Well, it's interesting because the law of attraction, here we're talking brotherhood and men's and emotional health. I would say in many ways, the laws of attraction have drawn us together here. Right. And even Mike Smart, you know, I had Mike on the show, and he's like, yeah, I like the energy these boys are bringing. So he's knocking on my door. And, you know, Marty, I was attracted to you when I first met you, and we started talking, and I brought John, and John, you know, there was an attraction with us. And next thing you know, like, there is certainly, and again, not in a physical sex, but there's an attraction of shared values, shared ideas, shared goals, shared ideologies. There's value in that, boys.
Well, it comes down to, I mean, I saw when we met, you're successful, and you were basically taking a fucking huge bite out of something that was still really not here yet, and so it had been here before, but the cycle hasn't completed yet to come back. So you're taking this huge bite, and when I say a huge bite, it's like a huge project, and that's the kind of stuff to me most people are going to run away from.
Yes.
So to me, it was like, no, this is running towards difficulty is what I do. And when I see opportunities to run towards difficulty, I'm always going to do it. And it makes it so much more pleasurable when you're running with somebody.
Yes. Well, and that's what's fun when I wake up every single morning, guys. It's a true story. Like my alarm goes off at 4. Oh, Johnny, today it went off at 3:15. I was like, my head was like 46 minutes before. Like, oh, I still got 44 minutes to go back to sleep. But I get up and I got this enthusiasm because I'm going to come and hang out with some buddies that I thoroughly enjoy spending time with. And then we start spending time with the guys that join us every single morning in the comments. Like, yeah, there's something going on here, right? So, but hey, guys.
Real quick, I wanted to add real quick when you asked me to join the show, I was like, I forgot this motherfucker follows me. but I say that to say, like, just post your content. You never know who's watching. I forgot. I totally forgot. I'm like, oh, I did do a show. I forgot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's funny because I've been working on the back catalog as we're coming up to the end of year 1 here. So I've been working on the back catalog and getting some things cleaned up. And I looked at that first appearance when you came back with me and Nicole, and you were hanging around for a while, and you were on the couch there, and then fuck, next thing you know, we're part of the concrete here, brother. We're part of the fucking concrete.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, so 2025 sex trends revealed. There's some studies that have said that, hey, here's what folks are going to be talking about in 2025 when it comes to mainstream stuff. This came from a men's publication. Number 1, guys, mainstreaming sexual wellness and emotional support. There's a trend this year about this idea of integrating technology and the destigmatization of sexual health. Leaning into how mental health is affecting sexual health, and perhaps encouraging men and women, especially men, to become more comfortable around their emotional health when it comes to being in the bedroom. So what does that mean, boys? Men talking more about it. John, you and I talk about it all the time, normalizing it. There's this trend, Johnny, to have more men normalize discussions about sexual wellness in the bedroom because not enough men normally talk about it. John Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big connoisseur of, like, I started doing this when I was young. When I was going to have a sexual relationship with somebody, and it was a little awkward for some, but I kind of took it as like, okay, this is a bold move, which makes me look like a G. So as a youngster, of course, riding my ego. I would just say, hey, looks like we're going to be getting down at some point. You can tell when you get to that you can feel that energy. Let's talk about what you like. What do you like? Yes. And, some of the more sexually liberated girls, we would just start to talk. Others would be like, they would get all clammy and look away. Well, the good part about that is when you kind of ease them into that conversation, then when actually comes time to get down, that ice has been broken.
Yes.
So I guess when it comes down to conversation, whether it's like uncomfortable or it's comfortable, whatever you got to do, just start having it.
You know what I have really focused on doing, boys? And I'm proud to share this with you guys. I've made a very concerted effort, more than ever. I know, John, you and I touched on this a couple of days ago, of sharing my words from my heart and my brain through love letters to my wife throughout the day. If I'm thinking something, whether it's positive, good, negative, but just emotionally wanting to connect, I open up my phone. I got a little notepad in there. I just kind of go blah. It's like a diary or a journal. And then I send it to Lauren. And it's been wonderful because it's been a really wonderful emotional way to connect. And what I like about it, boys, it's like a never-ending love letter. And what it's giving me permission to do is that if I'm feeling frustrated with her or an event, I can share it there safely. No, listen, do we talk? Of course we talk. But a lot, actually. But what I'm finding is really comforting about it is that I'm just writing a letter. and she's not in front of me. I'm just expressing myself, and then she's receiving my words within her time, within her emotional state, and then if she chooses to, we can discuss it. But man, is it making me feel awesome, and it's making me feel really close to her because I'm making.
Well, you know, that's amazing, brother. I think one of the things that we got to point out about this is whether we're talking about just straight physical or emotional or a combination of the two. Sorry about that. That when you got to have the confidence to do it.
Yes.
And when you take care of yourself,
Yes.
you have the confidence to do the shit that you wouldn't do if you're all fucked up. Being hungover or feeling low energy or feeling whooped because you're not sleeping well, this doesn't give you the clarity to do the things that we just discussed.
Yes.
Or I should say the clarity, or even the motivation or the confidence.
Well, you know what I'm enjoying about it as well, boys, is that I find that if I can get into a constant stream of consciousness by sharing my thoughts and words with her, that I can either proactively get ahead of a situation that might get out of hand, be it an argument or be it tension, because I can constantly articulate, or when it's time to have a difficult discussion, there's a framework for it, right? It's not just all of a sudden, blah! It's like we've been talking and sharing and conversing and building up to it, right? And I don't know, it's just I find it's just a really wonderful way to stay connected through the power of words, right? And man, because those words are coming from my heart and my brain, and they're coming from my fingers, and I'm sharing them. There's such power in that, right? So it's just been a tip for me, and it's been working really well for me. But guys, another big trend we're going to talk about, we're going to bring AJ Zeglen here in a moment. I want to keep talking emotional health with Brotherhood. Guys, 2025, and you can see this happening with technology. Marty, that's kind of why I asked you with the relationship question at the beginning of the show here, but like expanding relationship models. And what does that mean is that there's more people than ever, boys, having long distant relationships because of technology. And John, I know you and I grew up with
the truth.
Yeah, and I know you and I grew up within a world where, you know, we didn't have FaceTime, we didn't have video calling, and long distance ideas would almost be impossible. Marty, I got to ask you, brother, as the young buck on the show, like, it is just normal, isn't it, amongst your generation to just to have a relationship over video? I'll use that as a simplifier, Marty.
It's normal, but you know, it's pros and cons to it, man. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's pretty cool that you can connect with someone in any state, you know, yes, even out of the country, yes, right? But it's fucking up the relationships nowadays too. You know, it's a mess out here. You know, you got your hometown girlfriend, boyfriend, and then you got the the out of town girlfriend, boyfriend too. Yeah. So you know, like I said, there's pros and cons to it, but it's very common nowadays.
Well, and the other trend, Marty, they talk about is slow dating. So, you know, there was a period of time, right, where, you know, when all the apps came out, which was swipe, Tinder, Bumble, just swipe. But now, apparently, Johnny, there's some trends happening, especially with Marty, with your generation, where it's just slowing things down considerably, right? Not rushing towards having sex, not rushing towards, you know, big decisions, just slowing the entire pace down, because there's a generation that have been focused on instant gratification, where Johnny, yeah, folks like Marty are going, no, wait a minute, let's just slow it down. Let's slow the instant gratification down. Is that Marty?
Well, yeah. Well, you see people older than you know, so
yes, especially
like me with my profession. Yes, you know, I've gotten to talk to women and men that have been married, that have been divorced. Yes. And you kind of hear, you know, and you kind of listen to their advice, and they tell you, hey, take your time, you know, because I see a lot of people that, quote unquote, made the wrong decision, you know, like they'll be thankful for their kids, happy for their kids, you know, obviously, but you know, they just, maybe they never were in love with that person to start with, you know, they probably did it because that was the thing you're supposed to do. Yeah. So if you're going to make a big commitment like that, you want to make sure it's with someone you really love. And not that, you know, even you, Keith, you got a divorce too. You know, nothing against you, but I'm like, oh, damn, Keith got a divorce too. Shit. Yeah,
it's true. 100%, right? So those are some of the trends we're talking about 2025 and some of the section dating trends there. So, all right, Johnny.
Let's go, John.
Let's get the lifestyle tip up. We got to come up. We're going to
come on, man.
Come on, man.
Get after Johnny.
Stop making the same mistake day after day. As human beings, we tend to not understand that we repeat the same mistake many times for years, day after day. And when you recognize the biggest mistake you're making every day and you remove it, it will propel you forward. Myself is a perfect example. I had a major issue with overeating, and I would overeat just a little bit often, almost every time I ate. And it became so normal, I didn't recognize I was doing it. As soon as I became more aware and I removed that habit, it propelled me forward faster than many of the other things I was doing to try to make that progress. So it's simple. Just remove one bad habit from your daily rhythm, and you will make so much more progress than you ever imagined. Rock and roll.
Oh, remove bad habits. Introduce some new ones to get that progress. There's
Rock
John
and roll,
Anderson.
baby.
What's up, Mr. Zeglen?
What's up, AJ?
How are you,
How
brother?
you guys doing? I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Good.
Hey, Age, we're talking brotherhood today. We're talking brotherhood and emotional health with men. And, AJ, despite its benefits, cultivating brotherhood is not always easy for men
Right.
at all, actually. Many struggle with forming deep friendships due to societal expectations of stoicism or a lack of role models demonstrating emotional openness. Additionally, modern lifestyles often frown upon connecting through the things we're going to talk about, further complicating efforts to build meaningful relationships. AJ, let's spend some time this morning talking about the value and the role of brotherhood for emotional health with men. And I want to come at it especially from the world you've come at with pro sports, the locker room, men in that environment, and the different roles that we all play in this idea of brotherhood. AJ Zeglen.
Yeah, we need each other. We do, and I think a key important part of that is just admitting that we need each other, right? And I mean, who else knows what it's like to be a man or what men go through than other men, right? And so we're often we often quickly give away or put away that stuff for ourselves because our main role and our we feel our purpose is just to provide and protect, right? So we're like, hey, well, if my partner is well taken care of and they have everything that they need, which will include a social circle with their friends and the things that they do for their mental health, and my kids have that and everyone has that, then I'm good. Right. And then we forget that we also need that to some capacity as well. Right. So, yeah, I just think it's really important that we need each other and that we're OK admitting that. And if we do, then, hopefully then we have the courage to just kind of reach out to one another and make sure that we either make new connections with men that are meaningful or keep ones that we've had in our life for a long time that are really meaningful to us and keep those ones active.
AJ, in your experience working with athletes, working with men, working with clients within your profession and helping men mentally with emotional support and mental support, what's the most common theme a man would come in to talk about when it comes to this situation? And what I mean by that, AJ, is I'm going to assume it's common for a man to walk in with you, be quite stoic, be quite, be confident, be framed out and have a wall up. And yet he's coming to you looking for help. And I got to think that in your conversation, one of the first things you're encouraging that man to do is find a way to bring the wall down. You know what I'm trying to say, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a couple of things when they come in. First of all, I think that I do have a large population or a large percentage of my clientele are males.
Yes.
Because they look and then they see me as a therapist and I'm a male and I like to work out and I got tattoos and I got whatever. And I think the guys think like, okay, here's someone kind of like me. Like I look at this guy and I think this guy looks like he's a man and so I can, share. And then, so usually I try to lead by example in those situations too. Right. And when we sit down and we start talking, we get to know each other. I express a certain amount of vulnerability comes from myself when I'm getting to know them. And I think that when they see that, they're like, okay, well, I got this dude across the table from me or sitting across the room from me. And he's being vulnerable. He's now giving me permission to do the same. And I feel comfortable, because I see that he's doing it and we're here in this room together. And I feel like now I can kind of follow that lead. So sometimes, again, we've talked about this before. People are more likely to do what you show them than what you say. So if we sit here and as a group of males and we talk a lot about being vulnerable and we talk a lot about, the importance of forming meaningful relationships with men and keeping those going for our mental health, but then none of us go out in our real lives and actually show people that we can be vulnerable, or we don't show people that we actually put the effort into those relationships, then, what does it really mean, right? Then we're just sitting here talking about it and it doesn't really make any difference. People are more likely to be influenced if they see all four of us out in our daily lives and we actually show them that we do those things.
Let's do what we normally do, AJ. Check this out. You just had a beautiful rant. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to sum it up in a phrase.
Perfect.
Leaders pull their pants down. That's it. Game over.
There's
Right.
actually a lot.
Did that do it, AJ? Did that summarize it? That might have been one of the best ones in terms of you giving a long one of me putting that sucker, not even a full, but just barely one sentence.
Well, there's actually, let's digest that, because there's a lot of truth to that. Because you can actually imagine getting into a dressing room with a bunch of men and saying, guys, we're going to war. We're going to go battle this. And then you standing in front of the guys and taking off your pants and saying, I'm going first, naked. And by you saying,
leaders, that's a better way to put it, brother. Leaders pull their pants down first.
But to hear John's point, like if you're in that room, AJ, because you've been in a lot of lockers, a lot of like athletes and so forth, that leader, like that tough, stoic leader that says, I'm fucking going first and I'm taking my pants off and going, I'm going to suspect most men are like, well, fuck, if he's doing it, I'm going too.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
it's really as simple as that, isn't it, AJ?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if we're willing to go, we're willing to go. Again, we can't just say it. We have to show it, right? And we can say we're willing to go all we want. And people might be like, he says he's willing to go. But yeah, until you pull your pants down or whatever analogy we're using and actually show them that we're doing it.
Yes.
Then it's just all talk, right?
So I'm curious about
real quick, I was going to say, I've been talking about building out a team, right? This year, we're doing some really cool stuff with my business. And so I got a group chat with the team. So when I drop a text in there at 3:05, just 3:05, 3:10 every morning, it shows Jesus Christ. This motherfucker is up way before everybody every fucking morning, on Saturday, on Sunday. You got to lead by that stuff. I mean, Elon Musk tells a story about how he slept literally under his desk in the factory.
Yep.
So his shifts were changing and he's climbing out from under the desk.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you say you're tired when you watch your leader sleep under a desk?
Yep. Oh, I'm all over that, Johnny. I agree with you. I don't know how you can't be motivated by the guy that wants to get up there. Like, I just don't know how you can't. Yep. But what I'm curious about, AJ, is you have a young man son. You have a young son. He's Boston's 17. Right? 17?
16.
16, yeah.
Just turned 16.
What do you see as a young man and amongst his peers and within that generation? Do you sense, AJ, a young brotherhood and that thought process happening? Like, do you see those men growing up, AJ, to the things that we're talking about? And do you see those men growing up? Do you see those men growing up strong emotionally and connected? I see you nodding there. I can see you leaning into this, AJ.
Yeah. I actually think, just from my own experience, I think they're a little further ahead than my generation was. They definitely seem a little more open to it, aware of it. It seems a little more like, quote unquote, like normal to them.
Yes.
Right. And I think that just because there's been discussion around it, and they've grown up through that discussion, right? Whereas I think with our generation, we've kind of had to come try to come back to it, right? And you know, kind of gotten to ourselves to a certain point and been like, oh shit, I'm now at this stage in my life. I don't have any close male friends anymore. I don't have any meaningful relationships. All those guys I was tight with before, like that's all kind of dissipated. Everyone's gone off into their own ways or gone off in their own ways. And we don't have that connection anymore. And then now we're trying to work to get it back, right? Because we realize how important it is. Whereas I think this generation growing up, they've at least been educated to an extent on that it is important, or they've heard from somewhere, or they've heard from us, and I think they're just, again, this is a very small sample size. I'm comparing my personal experience with what I see in my own son's personal experience. But I think that they're much more open to that, right? And just the way they talk to each other and communicate with each other, and the types of friendships that I have seem slightly different than the ones that I would have experienced.
And would it be fair to assume, and this question is coming to both John and AJ, would it be fair to assume that the females, John, your daughters, and then AJ, your son dating a young lady, would it be fair to assume that those females also have a new level of expectation of that generational of man too, wanting them to have some emotional, mental health? You know what I'm getting at? Like the female is expecting, like that 17, 18-year-old female is wanting more of their man than what maybe we were growing up with. You know what I'm trying to say, boys?
Yeah.
I'll
let John go.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's kind of that's, little girls, they're drawn to people like their fathers.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I had to be really careful was, because of course on the outside, you see this, this big burly dude, but I also needed to be gentle with them. I needed to show, good and bad tears. I needed to teach them how to communicate. So it wasn't just they were drawn to some closed off, big, nasty male. I needed them to understand all the qualities of a good man.
Oh yeah.
So that they weren't just going after some big freaking meathead that had nothing else to offer other than being strong.
I guess so. Yeah. How about you, AJ? When you look at the young lady that your son's hanging out with, you find that she is that those emotional connections are important for her as well.
Yeah, I think so. I'm as you asked that question, I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like I'm not really quite sure actually, like how she would feel about that, or her generation of females feel about that. If I'm being honest, I'm not really sure. I think in general, I've seen that, as you guys know, like my other child, my daughter, has a disability. So I've seen a whole generation of kids seem much more accepting and kind and warm and stuff like that than our generation was, right?
Yes.
So, male and female, like I imagine if my daughter would have had to grow up with me when I was in school, like she would have been treated completely differently, and it just would have kind of been the norm, right? Like I think of all these kids that I grew up with, and came and crossed paths with at certain times in my life when I was a kid. And it breaks my heart now to see how they were treated essentially. And I don't think anyone had any ill will at that time, but just society in general just treated those things differently, right? There wasn't as much acceptance or inclusion or anything like that. And so, based on that, I feel like there is some probably different, I don't want to say expectations, but I think if all the kids are a little more just aware, right, and accepting and inclusive and stuff in general, then that probably shows up in a lot of different ways, how they treat each other. And if they're in relationships, I would assume that shows up in some type of way within the relationship of their expectations of one another as well.
Yeah. Interesting. It's fascinating to me. It really is. I love the idea of brotherhood, and I love being curious about, these next generations. We were talking with Marty about dating AJ, as a 30 some odd year old these days, and I get curious about, my son, your son AJ, but what, are they embracing brotherhood? Are they embracing these emotional values that we keep talking about, right? And it's good to hear that. I know my son is, and it's good to hear AJ that yours is as well here. So. All right.
Well, I think, on one little side note, I think social media is creating a lot of confusion on this for the younger generations. It's numbing them up, man. They're spending so much time. They'd rather spend, I guess you'd say many of the youth would rather spend time with the person on their phone than the person standing next to them.
Yep.
And that's a huge problem because you're not getting the same type of connection watching the person on your phone that you'd be getting paying attention to the person standing next to you. So that's why I say to my kids, look, who do you want to spend time with? The person on that telephone or the person sitting next to you? And it's like, when you put it in that perspective, it kind of helps. Like, whoa, there's a lot of missing here.
Yeah.
John,
AJ, go ahead, brother.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, John, I'm happy you mentioned that because, on the topic of vulnerability and which is, kind of connects everything that we really talk about on the show the majority of the time. I think that is an important distinction too, right? And you brought up social media, that when we express those things, when we're talking about that brotherhood too, like it's got to be genuine. It's got to be authentic, right? Like me going onto my phone and recording a video of me looking sad or feeling sad and putting some sad music to it and then sharing it just for absolutely everyone. That's not vulnerability, right? That's a show. That's a stage. That's me putting something out there because I'm hoping to get attention in return. Vulnerability is if I am sad or if I do need a meaningful connection, I pick up the phone and I call Keith and I tell him in person, hey man, I love you. Like, you mean a lot to me. Thank you for this. And there's that personal connection with the person. If me just, throwing it out there to the masses for attention and hoping, that's not vulnerability. And I think that's been confused sometimes, right?
That's well said, brother. That's really well said. Because it's often confused, AJ. And I think because there's a lot of confusion around, I'm vulnerable. I'm going to show the world how vulnerable I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, you're actually putting on a show right now.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Go tell that person, like, don't make a video, a 2-minute video and throw it up on Instagram of saying something for, I don't know, your mom's birthday or your dad's birthday. Your mom or your dad probably don't even have Instagram. Like, show up to their house, and go tell them that you love them and give them a hug and spend time with them.
Yep.
Or pick up the phone and call if you're on the other side of the country and have a meaningful conversation with them, and that no one else has to know about, right? Because it's so I think there's a bit of a,
I love what you just said. What no one else has to know about. That's what's been lost too, is that once we feel like we need to tell everybody everything all the time, which is sometimes the greatest things are shared amongst two people. Nobody else has to know. Right?
Absolutely.
Well, it's almost like, social media should be a glimpse into your life, not the reverse effect.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I think, and we are going through an interesting time in social media now as we revert to a new administration and some changings in the world and perhaps some new definitions around a lot of things. Frankly, we've heard some of the announcements this week around, lesbian and gay and transgender and acceptance. And I can't imagine some of those feelings of how people are, and even AJ, some of the men waking up today going, okay, well, I'm struggling with some of the redefinition, maybe what being a man is. And I find there's going to be some interesting conversations that I'm proud to be in the middle of, the conduit of conversation, to give men a safe space to have a dialogue around some of these changing paradigms, AJ, because they're changing, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And things are always changing, right? They're gonna change here, and then in 4 years they're gonna change again, right? Yes. And then 4 years after that they're gonna change again. So I think it's important that for ourselves individually, that we have our own kind of moral compass and that we work on ourselves. And I think that's really how we have the greatest influence on those around us, right? If I make sure that I follow my values, right, and I live them, and what's important, what I believe to be true and important, and I work on myself as a man, then I can hopefully have more of an influence on those people around me, right? So,
Yes.
you know, it's like, where do we start on that stuff? Well, that's where you start, right? I can't skip 10 steps. I can't get out ahead and be like, oh, how am I going to change the world when I don't even have myself in order? You know,
Dude, I got to tell you, man, and AJ, we've hung out long enough for me to say this before we wrap up here. I can't imagine, I can't get over how long I went through life fucked up about didn't know what my values were. I just messed up. I just not no, like, and there's guys that just don't.
It's the truth, man. It's 100%.
It took me getting to my 40s to start spending time with that young man over there to get my values sorted out. And I was like, oh, that's what that means. Oh, I need to have a compass to make good decisions. Oh, that's what that means. Oh, that's why I was making bad decisions my whole fucking life, because I didn't know what was right from wrong. And when you don't have values, man, fuck, you get messed up, Mr. Zeglen.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Get messed up here. So, all right, guys, we're hanging out with AJ. Oh, we've had him overtime here. We're gonna get him out of here. We got to AJ get back to work. But I appreciate you, man, hanging out with us today. Brotherhood, emotional health. What is on the big agenda today? Tell us something new today. We know you got a big one. What's something new on your agenda today, Mr. Zeglen?
So new on my agenda today. It's actually not on. It was confirmed today, but it'll be for this Saturday. Because I'm always like in a kind of push my comfort zone, get involved in stuff that I'm interested in, but I don't have much experience in. So I just got my confirmation. I registered this Saturday for an actor's workshop.
Oh, nice.
Doing, like an intensive 2 hour
baby.
study and doing that. Obviously, I love movies. I love acting. I love whatever. So I've set out this idea somewhere in my mind. I'm hashing it out. But I think maybe I'd like to try acting in like a live play one day or something like that. So
let's do it.
So I got a thing this weekend.
That is awesome. That is awesome to come on here to tell us that you gentlemen, talk about stepping outside of your comfort zone. Look at the smile on Anderson's face. He's like, you're fucking.
Well, the thing is, he's basically telling us he did it.
Yeah.
He's not, most people are, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. We're going to think about that shit for the next fucking decade. Pull the trigger, motherfucker. He just said, hey, this is what I did.
Yeah.
You hear that, everybody? He wasn't telling us he was thinking about it. He was telling us it's confirmed.
There you go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, AJ. That's
AJ.
Fucking good shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Future Academy Award nominee AJ Zeglen joining us here this morning with Keith and friends. AJ, I love you, man. That's awesome. So thanks for sharing that with us, man.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to I'll give you guys the update on Tuesday there when I see you again.
We want to hear all about it.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, Zeglen, you get out of here, pal. I know
Thank you guys,
sir.
Take care, AJ.
All right,
Thank
AJ.
you.
All right, AJ. AJ's going to get out of here. Marty, I know you got to rock and roll as well, pal?
Yeah, I'm out of here, man. I see y'all tomorrow, man.
See you tomorrow, buddy. All right.
Yes, sir.
Have a
Y'all
good look,
one.
brother.
You
All
too,
right.
brother.
And I got to pee bad.
Marty, you get out of here. Johnny, you go for a pee. I'll reset it. We'll do the creator spotlight and we'll get out of here as well, okay? You go for a pee, brother. Don't hurt yourself. Hey, guys, what's going on here? Mornings in Line with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys hit those big, audacious goals here. We go live every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, true story. X, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. And then after that, we chop up all these conversations. I said conversations because I've stopped making content. No more content. We're done making content. We're only making intentional conversations. And then wrapping content around it. But listen, you can find our content across all of the platforms, man. If you are on social media, you will find Mornings in Lab with Keith and Friends. Our purpose to help you guys get up and achieve big goals in life. Think of us as the evolution of men's conversation, where conversations started years ago in the prints of GQ and Sports Illustrated and Playboy and Penthouse and all the way down the path, moving into the conversations, the live conversations with, the recorded conversations with Joe Rogan, and then YouTube came out, and then, hey, the world woke up going, hey, where can men have live conversations every morning to help achieve goals, learn things, trusted information? Right here, Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. The only show, guys, to help you guys get up. And listen, this is bigger than the show. We're building a platform. We're building a platform, guys. Yes, so in and amongst the show, behind the scenes, much going on. Our ambition to give you guys a platform anywhere on the planet. When you wake up, you can wake up with the sultry sounds of Mornings in the Lab with whoever the host might be in Europe, Middle East, Australia. But hey, we're going to start here in North America with Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. But Jimmy, let's keep the show going, my friend. We're going to get over to the community corner, the Creator Spotlight part of the show here, where we take the big old Mornings in the Lab light and we crank it up and go just like that. There's a sound effect there. And we take the light and we find somebody over on a platform. Today's platform, we are shining it on to somebody over on the LinkedIn platform. And we have somebody here who's he's got a pretty fucking cool platform. He's got a pretty cool profile. And I got to say, Johnny, most people don't think about freight. No, but without it, the world stops moving. And if we all remember when the pandemic happened, when trucks stopped, the world stopped. You know, all this stuck everywhere, right? From sneakers to furniture, every product you use has a journey, and we often overlook it. And there's one creator, Johnny, who's pulling back the curtain on that world, making logistics not just important, but he's making it entertaining. This dude's been in freight since 2005. I think he's just an ideal human being, Johnny, for what we're doing here and what you're doing over there within your world. He's built the world's largest logistics podcast network in under a year. Hopefully he's going to be on the show.
No shit.
Yeah. He's turned his hit show, I'm not going to mention it though, Jimmy, into a must listen for anyone curious about the backbone of global commerce. This guy is an award-winning podcaster, TEDx speaker. Sorry, Johnny. Buddy, you're going to listen. TEDx speaker and the man giving the freight industry its voice. This guy shares stories behind the supply chain, spotlights the people who keep the world moving. He adds humor and insight to an industry we all rely on but rarely think about. Freight isn't just a business, it's life in motion. For this guy, he's proving that logistics doesn't have to be boring. From Apple's top-ranked podcast to an engaged newsletter audience, this dude is redefining how we talk about freight, making it smarter, sharper, and undeniably entertaining. And I got to be honest with you, Johnny, when I got this, when I had this name come across my desk, I was like, this is pretty fucking cool. Because we often think about, social media and LinkedIn and like a lot of white collar type stuff. This guy is taking like a traditionally blue collar type industry of trucking and freight, and he's created some really cool content and a really cool presence about his guy, and he's created a really cool show about it. So this morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, and I connected with this guy last week. So, dude, I want to have you on the show here. This guy, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, is extremely excited to announce and celebrate the freight specialist, Timothy Dooner. This guy has got an award-winning podcast on Sirius XM. He's a TEDx speaker. His name's Timothy Dooner. What the Truck? I fucking love it, man. What the Truck? You can find it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time live. After our show, guys, so after you listen to Keith and Johnny and Marty, you can go listen to Timothy Dooner on Sirius XM. But he produces some great content. And what I love about it, Johnny, I give it a listen. If you are in the trucking business or in the freight business, it's like you need to hear this guy because he's giving you tips and nuggets and just information that you won't find anywhere else. And what I love about it is that we live in such a world of micro niche content. Again, if you're in the industry of freight, if you're not listening to Timothy Dooner, I do not know what the hell you're doing. So guys, if you are into freight, if you're into logistics, if you're even just curious about how it works, you got to go tune into Timothy Dooner, What the Truck, host and podcast. And Timothy, we want to have you on the show. Here is how it works, Mr. Dooner. So we like to take the light, sign it on somebody on the show. And now we want to invite you on this show because I'm suspecting, Timothy, there's somebody in your world. There's somebody in your world that you're like, yeah, I like this guy's doing great work, great, awesome work. I want to celebrate him. So we want to have you on our show. Come join myself, John, and Marty. Bring that person so we can celebrate them for the future Creator Spotlight on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. So Timothy Dooner, we're celebrating you here, my friend, today. I'm going to go tune into your show later today. Hopefully you'll tune into ours and we can do some collaboration and so forth. So Timothy, we're celebrating you, brother. Have an awesome one today. Johnny, there it is. I love the Creator Spotlight, man, because let me tell you a few things about it, pal. What's happening for us, right, is we're getting introduced to these human beings that I normally wouldn't get introduced to. They're getting introduced to our show. They're coming onto our show, and we're building a network, right? So when I'm finding folks, when I get onto the platform between myself, Melissa, and so forth, and you find these humans, man, that's one thing I love about this. These people we're meeting, and these obstacles that people are overcoming, and these jobs that people are doing. It's just pretty fucking cool. Is all I can say, I guess. It's cool shit.
It's a great concept. You know,
It is.
imagine. Here's the thing. We're in the budding phase of this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you figure as it blossoms, that network is just going to be massive.
Oh, dude, it's massive. Well, you know what's happening too, right? Is that people are getting wind of this. So now I get people knock on our door and say, "Hey, can I be on the show?" We're like, "Oh, this is a great show. I'm going to hang with Keith, John, and Marty." Right. So because there's this, it's because we keep showing up. And you know as well as I do, people get fascinated with these celebrities behind the camera. So people are like, "Oh, it's like because you're on the camera all the time, you get put onto a different pedestal." Right. So it's fascinating.
I think that's one of the reasons why we have to really protect the fact that, like me, you, and Marty, we have just been nonstop, and that's the part that makes it so special. When people come, if people come in and out of this, and we just let people come in and out, it kind of downgrades what we represent and what we do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, there's certainly a really solid foundation amongst the three pillars.
Yeah,
like there's certainly a there's a foundation here, right? Oh yeah, then we get this fucking Jimmy guy pushing buttons. I don't know what the hell he does half the time, Johnny, but he's pushing buttons and sliding sliders and keeping us honest. And I'm waiting for the chatter to come up here on my chat because I can just see him go, what the fuck, man? But it's good. It's good. But listen, we'll wrap it up. Tomorrow we got a guest, Johnny. Next week we got some guests here. Today I purposely kept it light. I purposely kept it light today because got a lot of things going on behind the scenes that kept me from doing a few things today, which is okay. But what do you got on the agenda? How are you feeling? How's your body feeling after sitting for the last hour?
Oh, it hurts. But it's just listen. But oh, god damn it! But you more see, I talk about it and it starts fucking wiggling on me. Starts grabbing. You know, it's pain is temporary. The thing is, we as human beings, we get way too, I get focused, overwhelmed, intimidated by shit that's temporary. Outlast the temporary.
Yes.
All I'm doing is thinking about next Tuesday is when I plan on getting back on my bike again. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not thinking about hobbling around. That doesn't help me.
No, it doesn't. You're like my dad. It's funny because I've taught my kids this too, where and Lauren's like, what's wrong? I'm like, well, why? I'm like, nothing. Like, what's the point of complaining about my sore knee? Like, what's really the point about it? My knee's sore.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is the timing of this is like, it's terrible because we're actually going to be leaving. We're going down to Long Beach. We're actually going to be down there. Yeah, we got to go down to Long Beach and do some decision making for our oldest daughter's wedding.
Oh,
and then we're going to go to Huntington. I'm going to do some content work with my coaching group, JWX.
Yeah.
And so, we're going to be training, we're going to be golfing, we're going to all sorts of shit that I'm supposed to be mobile for.
You're supposed to be mobile for.
So,
yeah. Good luck with that.
I talked to him last night, and like right after he called me just to kind of confirm the schedule. Like I just got myself out of the shower and get all the dirt off me. And I was like, he's like, is this a bad time? I don't know. He don't know what he thought I was doing. I said, no, dude, this is what happened. He goes, are you going to be okay? I said, I was going to stuck, but I'll be fine.
Oh, man. Oh man! Hey, quickly before we go, have you had any friends that have lost have lost their home in the fires in California?
It's not direct. Indirectly, yes.
Yeah.
People that like mutual friends.
Yes.
But yeah, it's brutal, man. It's brutal down there.
I woke up this morning. Some new ones starting. No, I think there's a new one starting out there.
That's what I saw. I was like, God, tell me that's some sort of a joke.
I know. Yeah,
and that one's in. I think it was Riverside. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's what I saw too.
Yes, that's a little bit more inland. And keep in mind, inland, it's not closer to the coast. You get, it's a little more moist, so to speak. The humidity.
Yeah.
You get inland like that, man. It's dry.
Yeah, man, craziness. All right, pal. Well, listen, let's get out of here. I got work to do. You got work to do. We got things to do, people to see, and shit to do. Speaking of shit to do, I gotta go and make a movement down the hallway there. So I think it's probably time to get out of here.
Yeah, and tomorrow, because I'm going to be traveling, I may only have an hour, just to give you a heads up.
Sounds good, brother. We'll get after it. All right, my brother, you have yourself a good one today. Enjoyed the conversation. We are rocking and roll, man. We are in a rhythm. Everything, our things are looking good. The lighting is good. The video is good. The audio quality is good. All that's not good is John's sore body today after crashing on the motorcycle yesterday.
And I was going to say, if I seemed a little off today, that's because I'm dealing with trying to not wince like a little girl every, couple of seconds here. So if I was a little off, you know why,
All right. On behalf of John Anderson, myself, Christopher Martin, and AJ.
Temporary Tourette syndrome.
We're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow mornings at Live with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys get your ass to the bed. 8 o'clock Eastern time, X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then you'll find us across all of the platforms. Come find us. Come hang out with us. Come find me. Come find John. Come find Marty. We're not going anywhere. We're here to help you guys achieve greatness. Johnny, I love you, brother. Have a good one. Okay, pal? We'll see you later.
Love you too, brother. Have a good loop, brother.
All right, pal. See you, man. Cheers. Take care, guys. All right, Jimmy, let's get the hell out of here, pal.